Good evening, everyone. My name is Councilman Derek Thompson, and today is Wednesday, August 13th for our general council meeting. I'm acting council president because Danielle is out of town, as well as Ed Potteet. So today we have Councilwoman Kate Gleason and Councilman Javon Boxhill and myself, and we have a quorum for our meeting. So at this moment, we would like to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by our Councilman Boxhill. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Just a little housekeeping. If you need to use the bathroom, the ladies' room is right outside this door on the right-hand side. Gentlemen's bathroom is right at the top of the main staircase. The acoustics is very great in here, so we want to say, can you just silence your phones, mute your phones or whatever. If you need to speak to one another, please step into the hallway and then you can come back in as we continue. We have a list of speakers tonight. I'll call you to speak. When you come up, please step up to the microphone there at the podium. You're going to be given 4 minutes to speak. At your 3-minute mark, you will hear maybe a buzzer, and then you have 1 moment left. Let's be mindful of everyone who is speaking. Please be kind and quiet while everyone is speaking so we can hear them. At the end of every speaker, the council will give our feedback. Okay, that's what we have. So we'll go right into it. Our first speaker tonight, Jen Richardson. Are they in-house or online? Jen Richardson?
Do we have a
No?
Jen Richardson online? No.
No, okay. Miss Blair. Is Miss Blair in-house or online? No. Tarika Wajade. I hope I didn't mess that up. Is Tarika Wajade online or in-house? No. How about Tamiko Mary McIver? Tamiko Mary McIver online, in-house? No. Peter Satchelis? Is it online or in-house? No. Okay. Rose Linguisa, come on up to the podium. I state your name and address for the record, and then you can begin speaking. Thank you so much.
Okay. Good evening, Rose Wangisa. All three, can you hear me? Rose Wangisa, of 374 Hawthorne Terrace. Standing with me is Peter of 375 Hawthorne Terrace. 374 Hawthorne Terrace is me. 375 Hawthorne Terrace is Peter, and Gertrude, 366 Hawthorne Terrace. The three of us standing here, we're in support of Wakanda, and we live in the epic center of Wakanda. The houses involved are 374, 375, 366, 363, 366, and 369. And the three of us are here. And we have lived here for 29 years. And the reason why we moved to Hawthorne Terrace 29 years ago was because of Michael Singletary, who was an artist that lived across the street, and Vivian Ayers, mother of Debbie Allen and Felicia Rashad, lived on 325 Horton Terrace. So it was like an artist row, very similar to Stravers Row in Harlem. So when we moved there, it was a great neighborhood. It was really an artist row for everybody, and the community was great. And with that said, we had a gallery there. So we had the Museum of Vivian Ayres, the gallery, and Mr. Singleton had a studio. Today we're here in support of Wakanda 100%. And we have signatures of the people, all the people in the affected area. I hope you have the signatures, Councilman. Yes, so all of them. And the block is from 366 to right after 374 Horton. So another person that may be affected is Arthur, who also signed, couldn't come here today. But we won't even get to Arthur's place on Euclid Avenue. So with that said, we stand for Wakanda, the three of us, three families. And I remember you went knocking on the doors, they were not there. So this is us here, the three of us. And the rest of the people signed the petition. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Helena Edwards. Is Helena online or I don't see her in-house. Is she online? No? Beryl A. Gilling or Gilling, online or in-house? Hi, boy.
Good evening.
Mhm.
I'm Beryl Gilling and I reside at 145 South 2nd Avenue. I am a longtime resident in this city. In this city, property owner, taxpayer, and voter, I find myself, along with many other homeowners in Mount Vernon, disappointed and upset at the city's declining direction. These are things I have spoken publicly before the city council. While there have been a few positive things done, like the renovation of the memorial field and some streets repaired, the negative outweighs the positive. What we see and experience the most is the increase in taxes, money reportedly disappearing for one reason or another, schools reportedly closing, services continuing to decline, increase in abandoned buildings, and businesses closing faster than coming into the city. As one of the few remaining longtime residents, I, like some of those others, have seen a drastic change in the city, not for the good. The question being continually asked is, when will the city change for the better, and how will it change? Rather than being subjected to more and more unnecessary taxes, forcing many people to leave due to foreclosures and others due to sales, many of us see no optimistic forecast in the future. Leadership matters. City thrives when there is a good education, low crime, and taxes reflecting services being provided like our neighboring cities. My former minister mentioned several years ago that when we put leaders in office to represent the people of the city, the elected officials should be accountable and responsible. If they don't do what is required of them, then they should be removed from the office. We elect leaders to improve the well-being of the city, yet as mentioned before, taxes continue to increase. Before my mother passed away, she didn't have to pay school tax, as she didn't have any children attending school. Now every homeowner is required to contribute to school tax. We are not only paying a minimum amount, but over $6,000 and more yearly for school tax only. Each year the taxes increase, even though many people's salaries do not get increased as the rate taxes do. We understand taxes are necessary to run the city, but accountability in using the taxes collected is equally important. Previous city leaders, comptroller have moved millions of dollars wrongfully from the city's budget, but there has not been any accountability. It just became a loss. We, as property owners, are strapped with the bill, putting some in very vulnerable positions. The individuals who are involved still have not been held responsible. The school board paid 2 superintendents' salaries for over 2 years, but didn't think that taxpayers' money being spent foolishly. Leaders can and should be better. Is it greed that consumes those in power? Jesus said, you would know them by their fruit. It's not what one says, but what one does that reflect who they are. Integrity is essential. What is said matters and should be backed up by actions. The Bible verse, Mark 8:36 and Matthew 16:26 asks, what good is it for someone to gain the whole world yet forfeit their souls? We continue to pray for leadership, not only in this city, but throughout the United States, for leaders to think of the people and not turn blind eye and make a positive difference. We all need to put food on our tables. In other words, we all need to survive. The struggle is real among the city residents. How much louder do we have to cry before our plight is heard? Thank you for listening and for giving this matter your compassionate consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Is this Tashawn M? Tashawn M?
Hello, I'm Tashan Marriott and I live on 485 Bronx River Road in Yonkers. I thought this was more like a discussion about issues, but I'll just voice my few concerns that I have. So as I said, I live in Yonkers and I take the train at Mount Vernon West. So my concerns are as follows. In that area, it's very dirty. I don't know if you frequent that area at all. Train station has piles of trash. It's honestly just embarrassing walking out there to take train. And it's a little unsafe at night because it's not lighted. So currently the trash, I just got home. It's overflowing. Well, it's not overflowing. It's kind of full. And I called the City of Public Works. And what I was informed of is that they're not responsible they're only responsible towards 7-Eleven. And after that, it's Metro North. So Metro North doesn't own that building. It's owned privately. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of that, but I don't know if it's the city's responsibility to inform the person that owns it to clean the Metro North station. I mean, if you go to Fleetwood, you go to Mount Vernon West, I don't know, maybe figure out what Fleetwood is doing, keep theirs clean, and we could do the same thing. So that's the other issue. And it's just overall dirty in that area. And I get it that there's a split between Yonkers and Mount Vernon. So heads up on that. And I don't know if you recall, but there was a body that was transported on Metro North, right? And dropped off Yonkers, Mount Vernon. So the overpass that occurred is by Oak Street. It is, I go walking just to get my steps in sometimes. And I happen to walk there, I never do. It's pitch black. So, I mean, if I were Mount Vernon, I would want to like deter people from dumping, right? Any bodies over. It's just easy because it's very, there's a lot of trees. It leads into the parkway and to the path where you can walk. I'm sure nobody does that, but that's another highlight that I did reach out to New York City Public Works. They said that's something for you guys to figure out, I guess maybe at the meeting tomorrow, because there's no electricity running there. So those are just my concerns. And I'm hoping this thing gets fixed, especially the lighting situation. And the owner that owns, since I have another minute, the person that owns the new building right by Mount Vernon West, I'm sure he owns Metro North. So he just needs to get a porter. And maybe we can consider having a sign that says, if you litter, you'll be fined. I don't know. I'm just thinking ways to deter people from like just leaving their trash. And us trying to beautify I don't know, something. So I'll save the minute for someone else, but that's all I have.
Thank you. Ann Hill.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ann Hill. I've been a 14-year resident of Mount Vernon, and I'm here in support of the Wakanda event, which is sponsored by Rose Languisa. As someone who's lived on the block where the event has taken place for the last 8 years, I can say without reservation that I can say, am I supposed to speak into this? Okay, I can say without reservation that this event has caused no disruption to the block whatsoever. There's never been any trash, there's never been any fights, there's never been any police that had to come. It's a cultural Black event that should take place no matter what. As we drive around Mount Vernon and all through Westchester, we see this is a town that is 4 square miles. And we should have these kind of cultural events that testifies what Blackness really means to all of us here in Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon we've seen parades, we've seen church events, we've seen all kinds of cultural events in people's homes. You know, I can tell you about other artists that sponsor things in their homes, in front of their homes, and in the block. But yet our event has been highly protested for unfounded reasons. And I think this is the last year that this event is going to take place, mainly because of the harassment that we've had to suffer about this event. It's good for the children. There's something specially for them to get a sense of our culture, which is so important, especially with what's going on in the United States. And I implore this council to please let us have this event for the last time. It is so very important, with all due respect. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Deborah Diamond.
Good evening, council members and residents of Mount Vernon. I'm Dr. Deborah Diamond, and I'm a board member of the Wakanda Celebration at 374 Hawthorne Terrace, Mount Vernon, New York. Can you hear now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. I'm here to address the issues that the residents of Mount Vernon presented at last month's city council meeting on July 9th, 2025. I'd like to begin by stating that I have a list here of all the names of the residents in Mount Vernon, along with their signatures, those who are residing in the immediate area, including those on Hawthorne Terrace and Euclid Avenue, who are directly impacted by the street closure for the event and who are in support of the Wakanda celebration. Secondly, I would like to address the street closure. Okay, for the residents who reside on Hawthorne Terrace, south of 363 Hawthorne Terrace and 366 Hawthorne Terrace, they will have full access to Lenox Avenue and Lexington to get to and from North Columbus Avenue. We've got a map drawn right over here. We've got Lenox here, so anybody who's over on this side can go right up Lenox. There are 5 houses here that will be directly impacted, and they signed the petition stating that they're in favor of Wakanda. And those are the residents at 366, 374, 363, 369, and 375. Those who reside on Euclid Avenue, west of 374 Hawthorne Terrace, where the proposed road closure is on a one-way street, it's my understanding that if the street is closed, it will automatically become a two-way street on the day of the event, thus allowing the residents to travel in either direction to get to and from their homes. With regards to parking, that was another issue that was brought up. Okay, we have a single-use facility permit from the Mount Vernon City School District, which I have right over here as well. For the day of the event, it's going to allow us to use the parking lot, which will accommodate those who are in attendance. For the residents who are concerned about the number of people that are going to be attending the event this year, since it's back on the street, this is a ticket event with a limited number of tickets, and people need to register in order to attend, as is stated on our website and on our marketing materials. Fourth, trash. I understand that, people like to have their areas cleared, so do we. We like to have a nice clean neighborhood, we take pride in it. And I personally, over the past 4 years, when I worked with Wakanda and being on the board, I was involved in walking along Hawthorne Terrace from Elwood Avenue to Euclid, and Oakland Avenue and Elwood Avenue between Air Bar Avenue and Hawthorne Terrace, making certain that there wasn't any trash or discards of any type on the grounds of Trap Hagen School, the sidewalks, and the streets at the end of the event. Number 5, a special event application. It was brought to my attention that a local resident who is present tonight in this room stated at the last city council meeting on July 9th that there were inconsistencies with the special event application that was submitted for the Wakanda celebration in May, which I believe was actually submitted. It was submitted back in May, I believe it was. Now, I've got a copy of that application right over here, and I did not notice any inconsistencies whatsoever, and nor was I informed of any, and nor was Rose informed of any by the city. It seems as though the application was reviewed, and it appears to have been approved and signed off as of August 12th by the building department, the Department of Public Works, the fire department, and the police commissioner. And lastly here, I am perplexed by this particular situation. There was a community member who stated that he's very much against the Wakanda celebration. May I just go over for a few more seconds, please? Okay, thank you. Who stated that he was very much against the Wakanda celebration, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. They want it, fine. They don't, that's fine too. However, for someone to speak out and oppose it at a city council meeting tonight and possibly tonight and last month, I'm curious as to why 6 tickets for the Wakanda celebration were reserved on Eventbrite 24 hours prior to that meeting on July 9th. They were actually reserved on July 8th, 7:17 p.m. prior to last month's council meeting. At that, I would just like to conclude by stating that I am in support of the Wakanda celebration, and I do feel that this should continue at least for this year. And I'm sad to say that because of this whole situation, this may be our last time doing Wakanda. And we're sad to see that leave. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Let me go back over the list. Did Jen Richardson come in? No? Or online? No? Ms. Blair? Tarika Wajade? Tamiko Murray McIver? Is that Tamiko? No? Peter? No? And Helena Edwards? No, okay, these persons did not come in. Okay, so now we'll have our council persons respond. And we'll start with our councilwoman, Caitlin Gleason.
Thank you so very much. Some of the people that were on the speaker list tonight that did not show, I was actually able to mitigate some of these issues earlier today. So I just want to deal with those first. Speaker number 3, regarding East 5th Street, there were missing parking signs and a lot of illegal parking on the block. We put a special attention with the police department on that, but also DPW went and replaced the parking sign. Somebody had knocked it over and removed it. Speaker number 4, drug dealing in front of the area 275 South Fulton Avenue. I was hoping that that person would be here today so I could ask some questions, but that area is being investigated. It's under investigation by the police department. Wakanda, I'm gonna hold off on. Miss Helena Edwards, I spoke to her earlier today. It's regarding 623 South 7th Avenue. It is a house that is in disrepair, and it is overgrown. There's been several violations on that property. They did switch ownership. But the buildings department is on it and violated them on July 31st. And they will be following up by researching who the new owner is. And if necessary, going to court if they can't mitigate. Let's see, the other one. Miss Tishan? Okay. So yours actually spoke about the Bronx River Parkway exit, the overpass, and the train station. So I want to let you know that I did contact Legislator Tuviolo, okay, because the Bronx River Parkway and parts of that overpass are actually under Westchester County control. So they have alerted the Parks Department about the cleanup over that area. Also had our legislative aide, Antoinette Anderson, try and reach out to the MTA regarding anything that's on the MTA property when it pertains to garbage or what have you, to make sure that they continue to clean it up. I will reach out to the building owner that is adjacent to the MTA, and I'll go by there again tonight and see what you're talking about over there. I didn't have a chance to do it today. But if it's a private, the private building owner, they will absolutely be notified that they have to do better when it comes to their cleanup. I'm sorry, you want to step to the speaker if that's okay?
If you want, sure.
If you have something to say?
So I called MTA and it's not owned by them. It's a private owner. So I know that for sure. So they can't do anything.
Okay, so I'll go by there and is it in between the train station and?
It's just the overpass and the train station itself. It's just dirty. The walls are.
All right, I'll drive by there tonight. I'll drive by there tonight and we'll figure it out. But just so you know, we'll stay on top of it, and whoever is responsible for it, we'll make sure that we reach out and send them, an email or a letter to make sure that they handle it. But I agree with you, the lighting around that area is terrible. So whatever the county can help us out with, we'll see. On the areas that they're responsible for. And then. Okay, Wakanda. I'm gonna let our acting council president handle that because he has been in contact with Miss Longisa. I mean, the one thing I will say is that city council totally supports the Wakanda event. We always have. We showed up. We took part in it and enjoyed it. Having it on that particular and shutting down that street, I am not in support of. We also offered you guys different areas, Hartley, Brush Park, but again, that's just my opinion. However, the other council members feel, we've always been in support of it. I actually wasn't happy that people thought that we were trying to shut it down. There's no way that we're trying to shut it down. We're trying to have a safe event. No, there's no interaction with the public unless, because I was addressing some of her concern, okay? With that being said, that's all I have, Dr. President.
Thank you, Box Hill.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out. Go in a little bit of order. Ms. Farrell, Billy, thank you for coming out. Yeah, you addressed a lot of concerns that I think we all agree with our elected officials should be accountable, right? I do disagree, though, that the city is on the decline. I would think that we are headed in the right direction, and I think that that's one of the issues I would like to change is the narrative. I want everyone to stop saying that Mount Vernon is this, because I go to all the events and I see the community come out and we're in one accord and we're having a great time in Mount Vernon. Our city is getting safer, and I definitely see some progress. Absolutely, there's room for improvement, and I would invite everyone to have all hands on deck. We have our youth bureau children here, which is a prime example of some of the great things that are happening in Mount Vernon, and there's a lot of other great things. But yeah, there's absolutely room for improvement. And also you mentioned quite a few things that have pertain to the school board, which we do not have jurisdiction over as far as the schools closing, which is due to declining enrollment and some other issues as far as their financing, which is also a school board issue that we don't have jurisdiction over. But I'm not saying that you're wrong, but we definitely have to sit into the school board meetings just as we come out in numbers here as well. So we can get those issues addressed. And my mother's name is also Farrell. But thank you for coming out and addressing those issues, and we could keep the dialogue going. Ms. Tashawn, I think Councilwoman Gleason is going to be on that. We're both going to go over there tonight to see exactly whose trash that is and see how we can get that rectified ASAP. Who else? Wakanda. The narrative that we don't support Wakanda is just not true. I think that last year we had it at Trouthaven. My wife was there, my kids were there, I was there, and we had a great time. I bought art. I ate probably too much food, and it was great. I love the event. I think the only issue is just the location. 400 to 500 people is a lot of people, and I live right around the corner. And even at the school, we still had parking issues. So I mean, we just have to be honest that it's a huge event, and which is great, you know. But I don't know if it could be held in that small street, and that's the only issue that we're having. So yeah. So I know Councilman Thompson's going to touch on that some more. And well, come on, some of it. Yep, I think that's all I have tonight. So thanks.
Thank you so much, councilpersons. And thank you, community, for bringing out the concerns, because oftentimes when we hear these concerns, it's for the first time. And a lot of times we don't know some of the things that are going on in the community unless someone brings it to our attention. And when it is brought to our attention, we do advocate for the betterment of our community. So thank you so much for continuing to stay involved in every aspect of our community. You know, Mount Vernon is one of the densest cities on this side. We're not a town, we're a city because of our population, right? So there are several things. This is not a perfect city, but we are doing the best we can. As I always say, we're not perfect, but we're productive. We have been heading in the right direction, and our city is gradually getting better. Thanks to our elected officials and our residents here working hand in hand to ensure that there's accountability. So thank you so much. I know everything was covered here. Let me just check. I know by the train station, because I've driven by there a couple of times as well. And all council persons on deck, we will get some resolve with that, finding out exactly who's responsible for what, and you know, holding everybody accountable to do their part. So that will be forthcoming. So thank you so much for bringing that concern in as well. I know, listen, I get it with our taxes, and I know we've had tax increases and things of that nature, but most cities this size have 3 to 4 schools the most. Mount Vernon has 16 public schools. And then you have a few charter schools outside of that all come from the same funds, right? So the closing of 3 schools, as Box Hill stated, is because of the low enrollment. But with the closure of those schools, hopefully there's some conversation about what our taxes look like accordingly. I know there's development coming into the city and development coming before the council for the possibilities as we go forth with the finalization of our comprehensive plan. But we have to ensure that we have a smart development in and throughout our city, because the burden of taxes have always fell on the back of homeowners. right? City of Homes. And we don't have that revenue generating package that other communities have. They compare us to other communities like New Rochelle and Yonkers and things of that nature. But they have those large shopping centers and hotels and things that bring in revenue, right? So we're trying to bring in businesses within our community. And some people say, well, I don't like development. Well, you got to pick and choose. Either you want some good development coming in that's going to take the taxes off our backs, or do you want to pay higher taxes? So we have to try to bring in smart development that is going to be beneficial for our city in the long run. Because as I said, those neighboring communities, they have those revenue generating things such as hotels, shopping centers, and large stores that bring in those multi units that have businesses as well as retail at the bottom that bring in that double tax that Mount Vernon really doesn't have. Yes, there are pilots in it throughout the city. But recently, and the pilots go through the IDA, just so you know, that council has nothing to do with pilots. But there haven't been those astronomical and crazy pilots of yesteryear coming into our city. So we are doing the very best that we can to protect our city. And we invite these continued conversations to ensure that we're holding everyone accountable, doing everything we can to have those conversations and bring everything to the table to find some resolve. Also, thank you so much for your continued partnership. As far as I wanted to make a statement on Wakanda, because I have been talking to Ms. Rose frequently about this. And last year I helped Ms. Rose get into Trapp-Hagan School to resolve some of the back and forth of those who want it in the community and those who don't want it in the community, right? So we got permission to go into Trapp-Hagan, and I was able to help her last year with that. And she stated this year that there isn't funding, zero funding for Wakanda this year. She stated that there is zero funding, right? And I spoke with her because I said it's kind of hard to believe that every source of funding just backed away from helping, because this is a wonderful event. Wakanda every year it has grown larger and larger, and I think I'm the only council person who's never been to the event because I'm usually away with family. But I'm the only council person who's never been there. But however, every year I make sure that I'm supportive of this event. And we thought we resolved everything last year by allowing you the partnership and putting you in the right hands with the school and getting Trapp-Hagan and finding that resolved. And then we're here again this year because it wants to be back on Hawthorne and Euclid. Is that someone's phone?
Somebody turn that down, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. But I did find out now, I know that the city itself, through our American Rescue Plan funds, awarded Wakanda $20,000 last year. And in the statement, in the literature, the papers that you received, it was understood it was for 2 years, right? And the cost for the school was $5,000. So it was $5,000 to utilize the school. So if you got $20,000 to utilize within 2 years, you should still have funding to utilize the school. That was a little strange to me. And also on top of that, you received an additional $13,000 from Westchester County. And you also responded thanking the county for that this year of July 8th. Thanking them at 10:54 a.m., July 8th, 2025, thanking them for the contribution for $10,000 for the Mount Vernon Arts Institution and an additional $3,000 for project support coming from Ms. Rose Lingisa as a thank you for the funding. So I'm not understanding you can come up if you can, because I'm not understanding what took place where you say it was no funding to have it in the school.
Okay,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
okay. The 3,000, Mr. Morton is here. Thank you so much for being up. He's right here. He was part of this. So the sound system this year, he wants $5,800. So the 3,000 that he gave us is going to go towards that. And the county gave us 10,000, but so far they only gave us 7,500. That's going towards the artists. And we need the artists, we have the porta potties, 4 of them, the sinks, the security guard. It's a lot of things, and the 20,000 from American Rescue, that was last year. We paid for the rides.
Yeah, no, that had nothing to do with the rides. For the last year's event,
Yes,
before you received the money, they went over the literature with you, giving you $20,000 for 2 years. So you could have spent $10,000 last year and then had the rollover of $10,000 this year.
okay, I don't,
For those cultural events.
thank you,
So,
you're right. I
Yeah,
don't know
that-
if you said rollover, because even I spoke to the mayor and that's what she said on Facebook. She was writing with someone on Facebook about that, but we spent it all on 1 year because we had a lot of artists then.
and Ms. Linguisa, in your packet that you received with
Yes.
your ARPA funds as they laid it out before you received the monies, it stated that those funds were for 2 years, in bold letters, that it was for 2 years. And you acknowledged that 2-year funding. And on top of that, like I said, this year, you got an additional $13,000 for the help of Wakanda Celebration.
Okay,
And I'm just trying to get some
Okay.
clarity because,
but
hold on
get the-
1 second, I'm gonna
okay.
let you speak.
Okay.
But the thing is, I just want to get some clarity because everyone is making it seem like the council wants to shut this event down,
no,
that there is no support. When you came in last time, I spoke with you, even when I went to knock doors
Yes.
in the community, I stopped at your house and spoke with you as well, right? Trying to get the support that you need. I offered, to help you get into the schools again. You said there was a lack of funding.
absolutely.
And hold on, and further investigation with what fundings could come in. I located these funds that came into you for this year,
Which is,
and we're trying to make sure that this event happens. I said, now, if at all possible, if it's not able to carry out at the school this year, I offered you several parks within Mount Vernon. I said Brush Park. You said absolutely not. Brush Park is ghetto and unsafe.
did I say
these-
ghetto?
these
Did
are
I
your
say,
words.
I didn't say ghetto.
These are
I
your-
did not say ghetto.
Okay.
No,
This-
I will
it's on-
never, sir,
it's
I
on-
will never say ghetto because I lived on 3 East Third Street.
That's
I'm a
what-
South Side.
Okay, Ms. Linguisa,
I will
let
never say
me
ghetto,
let me
sir.
just finish.
So please do not
You
use that. I will
stated-
never say ghetto.
Ms.
Please,
Linguisa,
please.
let me finish.
No. I don't like what,
You can
I do not
respond
use that
once I finish.
ghetto.
Ms. Linguisa,
Yes.
you can respond after I finish. I'm just giving you verbatim what you.
No, I didn't use the
conversations.
word ghetto. I do not
So-
use words like that.
So then you said, negative things about Hartley Park as well. Do you recall that?
Yes, I said
gave-
there's a lot of homeless people there. Yes, absolutely. There's a
Okay.
lot of that there.
And
yes.
I tried to help you.
But sir, let's go
identify-
back to the money. Let's go back to the
I'm gonna
money.
get there, but hold on.
Yeah.
Try to get you these places and you said absolutely not.
No,
I
I
said,
didn't say
I
that.
said,
I said absolutely not, but I do not use words like that, sir. Because this makes me very sad. I'm from the south
It's
side.
okay.
I will never say ghetto.
I was
Okay.
hoping you wouldn't, but
Yeah.
that conversation.
Yeah,
that was-
I didn't say that.
That's who you.
Yeah. I
So
live on
it's
3
okay.
Third Street, meet the Browns building.
It's okay. You said
Okay.
when you first moved up here,
Yeah.
you lived on Third Avenue.
Yes.
That's
Third
what you
Street,
said in the
Third
conversation.
Street. But I
So
never
the
said
thing
ghetto.
is, and that's
Never.
when that came about, but however,
No, please,
we'll just put that to the side.
please don't
I
say that.
said Brush Park would be a wonderful
Yes.
place because it would give you that parking that's on the side of the streets as well. It's attached to a parking lot. And also Benjamin Turner School is right across the street, which would give you additional parking. And you said absolutely not. So it's kind of, it's a little troubling to me because we're trying everything we can to make sure that this event is successful and make sure this event carries on without the backlash of the surrounding neighbors who who came in outpour last year and the previous year saying they didn't want it in the community where your house is because they said parking was horrendous. They said that people could not get into their driveways. They said there was a lot of trash left behind afterwards. And we alleviated that. Hold on, people in the audience. So we tried to alleviate that by getting it into the schools. And this year, and like I said, the school only cost $5,000 to utilize. And they said even when it was at the school, there still was not enough parking. However, it was better than it was when it was on the block. With that being said, I want this event to happen. I want it to be, it is a safe event. I haven't seen anything happen.
Okay,
But the thing is, we have to make sure that we're respectful of all homeowners
absolutely,
and what their resolve is.
absolutely. We
And
respect,
also, you said there would only be about 75 people attending if it was in your backyard. In the conversation, in the
no,
paperwork.
I
the
did not have the
paperwork-
conversation
one
with
moment,
you,
Ms.
sir.
Rose.
No,
The
no,
paperwork says 400 plus.
no,
But our conversation, you said it'll be a small event and people had to register to get a ticket to attend.
Mr. Thompson, I never,
Go ahead.
never said that to you. Never. Between the ghetto and the 75 people, never. I don't on event, but I have 300 people. I never said that to you, Mr. Thompson. I don't know where you're getting all this
Ms.
information.
Rose, you
Another
also
thing too, sir.
said,
Can I finish?
hold on, you
You said-
also said that there are no vendors this year.
Absolutely.
You
You're
said
correct.
no vendors, correct?
Absolutely.
Now your video states that there are vendors.
It's going to be 4 vendors and 2 food vendors. When-
We understand the difference between none and a number of vendors.
Let me tell you, Kim knows that. We have 2 food vendors and 4 vendors for merchandise because it's a very small area right now. We are closing right there on Euclid. And let me explain something to you, Mr. Thompson. The people that are really against it is 2 families right here, the Mexican family.
Oh, no,
and the
we're not gonna
South
do that. We're not
Okay,
gonna
no, I'm
target
just saying, because this is really getting on
Sir.
my nerves. It's really getting on my nerves. And we did everything, and this is our last Wakanda. Okay? I'm done. I'm really done. For you to say, I said ghetto, I said 75 people coming up with all this things. If you don't want us to have it, that's fine with me. This is
Miss-
a
Miss
black
Rose.
culture. It's a free event.
Ms. Rose,
No, I'm fine, sir.
the thing is this, we're just
I'm done.
trying to make sure this event happens.
No, no.
Also,
Trying to make it happen. You're not trying to make it, my team, you're trying to make it happen.
we're not gonna be out of order like that. Hold on, Ms. Rose, Ms. Rose, Ms. Rose, hold on, order, Ms. Rose. We're speaking to the council. The council is
Yes.
speaking to you and you're
Yes.
speaking to the council. The
Yes.
thing is this,
Yes.
we're doing our very best to ensure that you have this event and it is well attended and it is safe and it is protected.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, we have to be totally transparent and it's not what we say, it's how we say it. It's not what we do, it's how we do it.
Right.
And the thing is, you keep saying that it's something against Black people. It is not. I don't know if you understand, but four out of your 5 council persons are Black.
I know that.
So we don't
Sir,
want to
let me-
keep
can I say
making
something?
this.
They had a couple of festival events. They had police presence. And I saw you there too. I think one of them was Hilltop. There was a police car there. Why can't we have that? Why can't we? And all the people signed off, people in the affected area.
Did you request? What did you put, when you put in your request for things, everything
We
comes
did
out?
put in a request to block the streets. Yes, we did. We did put in a request.
And you know, there's a cost for everything that you request when it comes to city,
Yes, yes, we
police
know
thing.
that.
And you
Everybody-
understand that the Hilltop
So-
paid for the police, correct?
Third, let me explain something. And everybody signed off from the police department, DPW, the clerk's office, recreational. The only people we're waiting for is the 5 of you in here. And we're only like 2 weeks away from Wakanda. And I'm still getting all this runaround. And I'm so tired of this. And you know what? I'm
Ms.
done.
Rose,
Thank
Ms.
you so
Rose,
much.
Ms.
I'm
Rose,
done.
you know, listen, proper protocol for any event, the proper protocol for any event is to secure location before you publicize and promote your events. I would never throw a festival in front of City Hall unless I secure City Hall first, and then I promote the event that I secured. You did this a little backwards and then you get aggravated and
No.
upset at everyone else but
No, I'm
yourself.
not upset. You do what you want to do. I'm not upset. You.
So that doesn't
You
sound
decide,
upset?
you decide. And I appreciate all of you. You decide.
And we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, hopefully, as I stated before, I will do my best to help you get it into the schools. Where it was at Trapegan last year. Brush Park is still on the table. Hartley Park is still on the table. We just, August 9th, we just had a wonderful Mount Vernon Proud Day with over 1,000 attendees and no incidents. It was a great event. So hopefully we can still help you find some solution with your event because I would like to see that event go on. I know that the city wants to see that event go on. So, I constantly try to meet at the table, but we try to work together to find some resolve. So with that being said, that's the end of that comment section. It is on the agenda tonight, and it will have to be voted on tonight. And we have to take into consideration of what all residents said. So with that being said, we're going to go right into our tally sheet.
Thank you.
Legislation and Public Works.
First and foremost, I would like everybody in the room to recognize our Youth Bureau. We have some members here observing government. As we move forward during the school year, you'll see our youth here participating civically and trying to understand how government works. So I just wanted to welcome them here tonight. Not everybody's here, but a good portion is here. Oh, there, okay. Oh, there you guys are. Okay. Well, that's great. Okay, so item number 1, Rose Wangisa, Wakanda, an ordinance authorizing the hosting of Wakanda Celebration 2025 is on the agenda. Item number 2, Tarika, I don't want to destroy this, an ordinance authorizing the temporary closure of Eastchester Lane for the Hialeah celebration on August 30th to 31st, 2025. That is on the agenda. Item number 3, Department of Management Services, an ordinance authorizing the amendment of ordinance number 11 adopted by the City Council on June 11th, entitled an ordinance authorizing the mayor to renew the annual maintenance agreement with Business Electronics, iRecord, for interview room recording equipment used by the Department of Public Safety. That's on the agenda. Item number 4, Office of the Mayor, an ordinance authorizing the Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, the Office of the Mayor, the Department of Recreation to co-sponsor the 3rd annual Big Block Party, providing for street closure, CLT services, and support. That is on the agenda. Item number 5, Office of the Mayor, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to attend the New York Conference of Mayors and Municipal Officials NICOM 2025 Fall Training School. That is on the agenda. Item number 6, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the mayor enter into an emergency contractual agreement with Zanzini, this is not spelled right. It says Zanzoni, but it's Zanzini Pipeline, Inc., for sewer rehab work at McQuestion and West Livonia Avenue and 115 Dell Avenue. This is a second vote, and that is on the agenda. Item number 7, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Public Works to attend the Public Works Summit in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, November 5th to the 7th, 2025. That is on the agenda. Item number 8, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing a budget transfer within the Department of Public Works to cover the emergency rental of a towable generator, cooling unit for the Dole Center. That is on the agenda. They did put in an edited letter that explains a little bit better as to what the rental fees and costs are. Item number 9, Department of Public Works, an ordinance declaring an emergency and authorizing the rental of temporary cooling equipment and the repair and replacement for HVAC systems in the Dole Center. 8 and 9 are related. Item number 10, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the Public Works release RFQ number 07.25, professional engineering services for planning, design and construction phase services of drinking water, sewer, storm sewer, and infrastructure projects. That is on the agenda, and that basically is just going out to see what engineering services would cost. Request for proposal. Number 11, Board of Water Supply, an ordinance authorizing the Board of Water Supply to amend the salary for the lead service line data entry clerk position. That is on the agenda. Item number 12, City Council local law number of 2025, local law of the City of Mount Vernon, New York, amending the refuse sustainability fee. We have to accept that, then it gets sent to New York State, where New York State actually puts a number on it. Then it comes back and we accept it. Item number 13, Office of the City Clerk, an ordinance authorizing the transfer of funds within the Office of the City Clerk budget to cover travel-related expenses. That is on the agenda. Item number 14, Office of the City Clerk, an ordinance authorizing the city clerk and executive assistant to attend the 2025 NICOM Fall Training School in Lake Placid, New York, September 15th to the 19th, 2025. That is on the agenda. Item number 15, Office of the City Clerk, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a 3-year agreement with Granicus Corporation for legislation management software and related services. That is on the agenda. Mr. President, would you like me to go straight into human resources?
Yes, but one moment. I do want to acknowledge that our Comptroller Morton is here, so I, just want to acknowledge you. So anytime you want to speak, you can, but you good? All right, he's just relaxing. Go ahead. You can do human resources for me as well. Thank you.
So our youth understand the reason why I'm chair of LPW, which is what we just went through. That was legislation and public works. I am co-chair for human resources, where Councilman Thompson is the chair. But as he sits as acting council president, I'll take over his committee and read off his tally. Item number 16, Youth Bureau. An ordinance authorizing the transfer of funds within the Mount Vernon Youth Bureau budget to cover salary expenses for the Workforce Development Academy for Youth, WDAY Program Director. That is on the agenda. Item number 17, Youth Bureau. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to approve the attendance of 3 Mount Vernon Youth Bureau staff members, including the executive director, at the 2025 Independent Sectors National Summit in Atlanta, Georgia, and providing for related expenses. That is on the agenda. Item number 18, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept foundation funds from the New York Community Trust and its Westchester Advisory Board to support the expansion of the Mount Vernon Youth Empowerment Advocacy Council. Ooh, that's what these youth are a part of. And that is all I have on the agenda. Yes, that's.
Thank you. And Box Hill can do public safety and codes.
Thank you. Again, welcome our Youth Bureau folks. Again, shining stars in our community, one of the highlights of our community that's on the rise. So thank you guys for coming out, because this is, I wish I was in my bed and you guys are out here voluntarily, so that's awesome. Thank you for coming again. All right, number 19, from Department of Buildings, an ordinance granting a 12-month leave of absence for Mr. Romel Lashley from his permanent position as document coordinator to serve as plan room clerk within the Department of Buildings. That is on the agenda. Number 20, from Department of Buildings, an ordinance establishing a separate gas work permit and fee schedule within the Department of Buildings. That's on the agenda. Number 21, from the Department of Buildings, an ordinance amending the plumbing reinspection fee structure administered by the Department of Buildings. That is on the agenda. Number 22, an ordinance authorizing a professional service agreement with the third-party inspection agency for construction inspections and observations for the development project at 115 South McQuestion Parkway. That is on the agenda. 23, Department of Buildings, an ordinance authorizing the use of third-party building inspectors to address the backlog of building inspections in the city of Mount Vernon. That's on the agenda. And number 24, this is for informational purposes only. From Consumer Protection, it's a Consumer Protection Monthly Report for June 2025, and that's information. Also,
Wait. Are you on 24?
I'm on 24. I'm going to 25 now, just for information purposes.
Fire department, do you order?
I don't have that.
Huh?
What you looking? All right. All right, Caitlin, I'm gonna continue. All right, number 25, from Consumer Protection, this is for information purposes. This is the monthly report for July 2025. 26 from the Fire Department, an ordinance authorizing the condemnation of disposal of obsolete firefighter personal equipment. That is on the agenda. Public Safety, an ordinance retroactively authorizing the Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety to attend the second annual New York First Responder Summit in Washington, D.C. and approving related expenses. That is on the agenda. Number 28, from the Department of Public Safety, an ordinance amending Section 243 of the Mount Vernon City Charter to impose on unlicensed tow truck operators. That's on the agenda. Should I go straight into finance and planning? Yes. All right, number 29, an ordinance authorizing the transfer of funds within the Department of Assessment budget to cover necessary overtime expenses. That's on the agenda. Number 30, in Office of the Controller, an ordinance authorizing adoption of a fund balance policy for the city of Mount Vernon. That's on the agenda. 31, an ordinance authorizing adoption of a debt management policy for the city of Mount Vernon. That's on the agenda. 32, an ordinance authorizing attendance of the NICOM Fall 2025 training. That's for the controller. That's on the agenda. Controller, did you have any you're going to NICOM. It's on the agenda. All right, number 33. Office of the Controller, an ordinance authorizing adoption of travel and expense policy for the city of Mount Vernon. That is on the agenda. Number 34. An ordinance authorizing the extension of the agreement with Capital Markets Advisors, LLC for financial strategic planning services and authorizing related budget transfers. That's on the agenda. 35, Office of the Controller, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of request for proposal qualifications for a consultant team to implement the innovative finance and asset management initiative on the referral. That's Comp 2025-15. That is on the agenda. From the Department of Planning, number 36, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a contract amendment with the Cities for Financial Empowerment Fund to incorporate legacy planning services into the Mount Vernon Financial Empowerment Center. That is on the agenda. From Planning Department, number 37, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Mount Vernon United Tenants for the installation of a city resource kiosk at their Mount Vernon facility. That's on the agenda. 38, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter a memorandum of understanding with the Westchester Neighborhood Health Center for the installation of a city resource kiosk at their Mount Vernon facility. 39, from the city clerk, an ordinance authorizing the Office of the Controller to establish a custodial account for 55 Pondfield Parkway to support planning board consultant services. That's on the agenda. And 40, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Mount Vernon referring proposed amendments to the code of the City of Mount Vernon, extending the expiration of approvals for the city land use boards to the City Corporation Council, City Planning Board, and Westchester County Planning Board, and scheduling a public hearing. That is on the agenda. 41, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Mount Vernon designating the self-lead agency for proposed zoning amendments regarding the health clubs in the MX1, MVWH, MVWC, NBOB, DB, CB, LI 7.5, LI 15, TOD1, and DTO8, districts, referring the amendments to the City Corporation Council, City Planning Board, and Westchester County Planning Board, and scheduling a public hearing. And that is on the agenda. 42, an ordinance authorizing the establishment of custodial account for the Sentinel on Third Project. And that is on the agenda.
Thank you so
Oh my
much.
God.
That was a lot. Now, usually we don't have these many things on the agenda, but we do today. So, that's the tally, sheet, so everyone can see exactly what's proposed. Now we're gonna take a roll call so we can get into the agenda, and the roll call is just to determine who's in attendance and who's voting on these things. So, clerk, if you can give us a roll call?
Thank you. Council President Brown is absent. Councilman Box Hill,
Present.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Here,
Councilman Potteet is absent. Acting President Thompson,
Here.
thank you.
Okay, now, once again, this is the agenda sheet now, and we're going into it to actually vote on everything that was presented. Okay, we're gonna go right into legislation and public works, Gleason.
thank you. Item number 1, Rose Longuisa, Wakanda, an ordinance authorizing the hosting of Wakanda Celebration 2025, Saturday, August 30th, 2025. So moved.
A second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Again, love the event. Had a great time last year. I would love to see it back at Trouthagen. I don't think it's suitable for the current location proposed, so I'm gonna say no.
thank you. Councilwoman Gleason,
Again, I totally support Wakanda. I think it's a great event. As I stated earlier, I don't like the location of it. We've made an awful lot of recommendations on where else to have it. So my vote is no.
thank you. Acting President Thompson,
And I will state, I say no. And, I am still trying to help get this event, to happen. I offered to get into the school district as well as the park, so that is still on the table. And, hopefully we can find some resolve. Thank you. Next.
Item number 2, Tarika Burhanaya de Sequoia Shazulaya. An ordinance authorizing the temporary closure of East Chester Lane for the Hialeah celebration on August 30th to 31st. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
Item number 3, Department of Management Services. An ordinance authorizing the amendment of ordinance number 11 adopted by the City Council on June 11th, entitled an ordinance authorizing the mayor to renew the annual maintenance agreement with Business Electronics iRecord for interview room recording equipment used by the Department of Public Safety. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
Item number 4, Office of the Mayor. An ordinance authorizing the Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, the Office of the Mayor, and the Department of Recreation to co-sponsor the 3rd annual Big Block Party and providing for street closure, CLT services, and support. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
Item number 5, Office of the Mayor, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to attend the New York Conference of Mayors and Municipal Officials NICOM 2025 Fall Training School. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
Item number 6, Department of Public Works. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an emergency contractual agreement with Zanzini, that has to be changed on here, Zanzini Pipeline, Inc., for sewer rehabilitation work at McQuestion and West Livonia Avenue and 115 Dell Avenue. So moves. This is the second vote.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
Item number 7, Department of Public Works. An ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Public Works to attend the Public Works Summit in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, November 5th to the 7th, 2025. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
Item number 8, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing a budget transfer within the Department of Public Works to cover the emergency rental of a towable generator and cooling unit for the Dole Center. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
Item number 9, Department of Public Works, an ordinance declaring an emergency and authorizing the rental of temporary cooling equipment and the repair and replacement of HVAC systems at the Dole Center. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
Item number 10, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the public release RFQ number 07.25 for professional engineering services for planning, design, and construction phase services of drinking water, sewer, storm sewer, and infrastructure projects. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
Item number 11, an ordinance authorizing the Board of Water Supply to amend the salary for the lead services line data entry clerk position. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
Item number 12, City Council Local Law Number of 2025, a local law of the City of Mount Vernon, New York, amending the refuse sustainability fee. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
Item number 13, Office of the City Clerk, an ordinance authorizing the transfer of funds within the Office of the City Clerk budget to cover travel-related expenses. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
Item number 14, Office of the City Clerk, an ordinance authorizing the city clerk and executive assistant to attend the 2025 NICOM Fall Training School in Lake Placid, New York, September 15th to the 19th. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
Item number 15, Office of the City Clerk, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a 3-year agreement with Granicus Corporation for legislation management software and related services. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
Going straight into human resources, if that's okay with you. Okay. Item number 16, Youth Bureau, an ordinance authorizing the transfer of funds within the Mount Vernon Youth Bureau budget to cover salary expenses for the Workforce Development Academy for Youth, WDAY Program Director. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
Item number 17, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to approve the attendance of 3 Mount Vernon Youth Bureau staff members, including the executive director, at the 2025 Independent Sectors National Summit in Atlanta, Georgia, and providing for related expenses. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Item number 18, Youth Bureau, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept foundation funds from the New York Community Trust and its Westchester Advisory Board to support the expansion of Mount Vernon Youth Empowerment Advocacy Council. And those members are sitting here tonight participating in their civic duty. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
I just wanted to point out, one thing that I think is really important that we point out is that this is the first time the director of the Youth Bureau actually wrote a grant for a private organization, and we were selected one out of, I believe it was 26 applications throughout the nation. And we received this grant to fund this program. So kudos to our director of Youth Bureau. We're very lucky to have her, and sometimes if you leave here on a night like tonight, you might see her walking out at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, so definitely something I wanted to mention. Go ahead.
Councilman Box Hill?
Absolutely.
Yay. Councilwoman Gleason?
Yes.
Acting President Thompson?
Aye. Public Safety.
All right, number 19 from Department of Buildings, an ordinance granting a 12-month leave of absence for Ramel Lashley from his permanent position as document coordinator to serve as planning clerk within the Department of Buildings. So moved.
Second?
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason?
Aye.
Acting President Thompson?
Aye.
All right, number 20 from Department of Buildings, an ordinance establishing a separate gas work permit and fee schedule within Department of Buildings. So moved.
Second?
On the question? Hearing none, roll.
Councilman Box Hill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason?
Aye.
Acting President Thompson?
Aye.
All right, number 21, an ordinance amending the plumbing reinspection fee structure administered by Department of Buildings. So moved.
So moved. Second?
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason?
Aye.
Acting President Thompson?
Aye.
All right, 22, an ordinance authorizing the professional services agreement with a third-party inspection agency for construction inspections and observations for the development project at 115 South McQuestion Parkway. So moved.
Second?
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason?
Aye.
Acting President Thompson?
Aye.
All right, 23, Department of Buildings, an ordinance authorizing the use of third-party building inspectors to address the backlog of building inspections in the city of Mount Vernon. So moved.
Second?
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason?
Aye.
Acting President Thompson?
Aye.
All right, 24, ordinance authorizing condemnation of and disposal of obsolete fire personal protective equipment. So moved.
Second?
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason?
Aye.
Acting President Thompson?
Aye.
All right, 25, Department of Public Safety, an ordinance retroactively authorizing the Deputy Commissioner of Department of Public Safety to attend the second annual New York First Responder Summit in Washington, DC, and approving related expenses. So moved.
Second?
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason?
All right, 26, Department of Public Safety.
We're not there yet. So I don't like retroactive.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
So I'm voting no for this.
okay.
But we
You-
spoke about this, no?
I know,
Mhm.
and I was not in support of it.
All right,
Okay.
no problem.
Acting President Thompson?
Aye.
Okay. Go for a second, no?
This has to come back.
Mhm. All right. 26. An ordinance amending section 243 of the Mount Vernon City Charter to impose on unlicensed tow truck operators. So moved.
Second?
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason?
Aye.
Acting President Thompson?
Aye.
Should I move on? Financial?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold
27.
on, before you go, Gleason, on 25, I know that was retroactive, but that's for the deputy. And it was, I believe it was $300 total that it would cost, so you didn't want, okay. That's all. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
All right. 27, this has come from Department of Assessment. An ordinance authorizing the transfer of funds within the Department of Assessment budget to cover the necessary overtime expenses. So moved.
Second,
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
All right, 28. Office of the Controller, an ordinance authorizing the adoption of a fund balance policy for the city of Mount Vernon. So move.
Seconded,
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
All right, 29. An ordinance authorizing the adoption of a debt management policy for the city of Mount Vernon. So moved.
Second,
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
All right. Number 30, from the Office of the Controller, an ordinance authorizing attendance of the NICOM Fall 2025 training school. So moved.
Second,
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
aye.
Acting President Thompson,
All right, 31, Office of the Controller, an ordinance authorizing the adoption of a travel and expense policy for the city of Mount Vernon. So moved.
Second,
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
All right, 32, Office of the Controller, an ordinance authorizing the extension of the agreement with Capital Markets Advisors LLC for financial strategic planning services and authorizing related budget transfers. So move.
Second,
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
All right, 33, Office of the Controller, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a request for proposal qualifications for a consultant team to implement the innovative finance and asset management initiative under referral comp 2025-15. So moved.
Second,
On the question? Hearing none,
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
aye.
Acting President Thompson,
aye.
All right, 34, Department of Planning and Community Services, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a contract amendment with the cities for financial empowerment fund to incorporate legacy planning services into the Mount Vernon Financial Empowerment Center. So moved.
Second,
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
All right, 35, Department of Planning and Community Development, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Mount Vernon United Tenants for the installation of a city resource kiosk at the Mount Vernon facility. So moved.
Second, Antoinette, do you mind taking that outside if you don't?
On the question?
Thank you.
Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
All right, 36, Department of Planning, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Westchester Neighborhood Health Center for the installation of a city resource kiosk at their Mount Vernon facility. So moved.
Second,
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
All right, 37, an ordinance authorizing the Office of the Controller to establish a custodial account for 55 Pondfield Parkway to support planning board consulting services. So moved.
Second,
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
All right, 38. From the City Council, a resolution of the City Council of City of Mount Vernon referring proposed amendments to the code of the City of Mount Vernon, extending the expiration of approvals for the city's land use boards to the City Corporation Council, City Planning Board, and Westchester County Planning Board, and scheduling a public hearing. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
39, from the City Council, a resolution of the City Council of City of Mount Vernon designating itself as lead agency for proposed zoning amendments regarding health clubs in MX1, MVWH, MVWC, NB, OB, DB, CB, LI 7.5, LI 1.5, and TOD1, DTOAD districts, referring the amendments to the City Corporation Council, City Planning Board, and Westchester County Planning Board, and scheduling a public hearing. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye.
All right, last number 40, from the City Council, an ordinance authorizing the establishment of a custodial account for the Sentinel on Third project. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson,
Aye. This concludes our agenda. So did you want to address it all, or you? Yes. Okay. Our comptroller will address.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for adopting the policies that came before you. That's only the beginning. There's a few more that will be on its way. But again, we're trying to respond to the things that were required of us from the previous audits of the New York State Comptroller's Office. We're doing that in stages as we also are working on completing the audits. Our auditors tell us that the 2020 audit should be forthcoming within the next few weeks. It has been a long haul for the 2020 audit because there have been a number of complications that have come up with our agencies and trying to get all of the work. So the way that this works is the city's audit cannot get completed until at least the Board of Water, Board of Water Supplies audits get done, and the URA, the Urban Renewal Agency. There was some challenges with the software, accounting software with the Board of Water, so that caused some delays in them trying to get their schedules together for the audit because of not because of any accounting issues, but because of the accounting software issues. You remember a few years ago, they changed from one accounting system to another. And later on, there became some complications. So that caused some challenges. Also, some reconciliations for the 2020 URA payments and things that have come through the city and through the agency. You remember in 2020, 2019, 2020, there was always this challenge with our former comptroller, and also some payments that came in, payments that were going back. There was a lot of inflow, outflow that occurred. Even during that time, the city council actually established a new account for money to come in so they could directly go to URA. So there was a lot of challenges. So that caused some delay in which some reconciliations of some of those items in order to get them done, to get the actual funds correct, due tos and due froms, and all that. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, 2020 will be done. However, 2021 field work has already been underway. In fact, I think we've completed all of that for the city. We're completing some other stuff with URA, so that should not take as long. And we anticipate that 2021 was a better year as it pertains to the inflows and outflows between agency, federal money, state money. So it shouldn't take quite as long to get done. And after we get through 2021, we then will move into 2022, which will be the current administration, meaning the current financial administration's time. And as you remember, we have been actually running functioning with a audit environment, which is cleaning up everything up to 2021, and then our current environment, which is 2022. And so once we finish 2021, our imbalances in 2021 will then roll over into 2022 into the new system, and then we'll unify both of those systems. And so we don't anticipate that those are going to take long. The reason behind all of this is to try to move as swiftly as we possibly can so that we can then complete the audits. We cannot, and I want to repeat again, we cannot even begin the process of getting a credit rating back until we complete these audits. But the audits have been challenging because of the interplay between the city and the agencies and some of the challenges there. As well as we also are doing this so we can quickly get through it, so we can get our single audits. Every year we finish, we complete a single audit. You know that anything above $750,000 a year spent on federal money has to then also complete a single audit. And the reason why we need to get that done is because we don't want to also have jeopardy of losing federal money because we haven't gotten the single audits done. Unfortunately, we cannot move any faster than what we're doing right now based upon the complications of the financial records from the previous years. Every year we finish an audit. We also finish the annual financial report with the State Comptroller's Office. And so we're doing that also in tandem as well. But that's with the audits. The other thing I wanted to just give you an update with too is where we are with the tax lien sales. We did a tax lien sale in June 24th, June 23rd, 2025 was our first tax lien sale. On that day, there were approximately $11.8 million worth of tax liens that was on that schedule to be sold. Of that, we sold $613,000 of it, which leaves a little bit over about 11 million still that was unsold. So that 11 million of tax liens has now advanced. I've advanced that to the in-rem foreclosure process. As you know, unfortunately, that's going to take some time. That's a very legalese, very long process. But we do have our outside counsel already starting that process to move those. And a good portion of those, if you remember, the way we approached this was we took those tax liens that were the furthest out and put them on the first schedule. So those are the ones that had the higher amounts. And so as I think I communicated to you before, it was doubtful that those high amounts, $200 and some odd thousand, $300,000, $400,000 was going to get sold on a tax lien because it would have required them to put in 10% and then pay the whole thing off in that. So because they did not sell, those are now going into an in-rem process. This will be the first time that the city has done an in-rem process since 2014. So that's happened. That was the first session, which was June 23rd, 2025. Our second session is scheduled for September 24th, 2025. And we have now moved up to the year. So those that are in arrears as far back as 2020 and 2021 will be a part of the second session, in which we will aim to sell those. Those may have greater success because the amounts are not quite as high, but we will do our best to try to get those done. Anything that is left over from that is not sold will also then move into the in-rem foreclosure process. Right. So those are the things that I have that I think I wanted to make sure I highlight to you today. You'll be getting some additional information from me in probably the next week or so around cash flow information. So you can see where we are. You continue to get, of course, the updates of the monthly budget to actual reports. In addition to that, we were finalizing the second quarter report that will go out too. Again, and that should be completed within the next week and a half, so we can get those out. So I think that's it that I have so far. Unless there's a question or questions.
Gleason?
I just have one quick question. It's kind of on topic, off topic. How are we managing the city-owned properties as it stands right now? I've gone by a couple of the properties. One in particular is that Cortlandt Street, that there's still vending machines outside on the sidewalk. Are we going out for an outside company to help us maintain this, or what is the approach moving forward?
We had not, but we probably will aim to begin to do that in the short term. Because actually what we were moving towards is actually the sale of any properties that are not going to be not going to be for municipal use. As you remember, it was just a long process to try to get to this place. I think at the last real estate committee meeting, we articulated that we are now at a place where we actually are going to start to either make a decision on those bids that came in. Because we actually had an evaluation process based upon what was the criteria for them to submit. But there's a lot of properties that actually did not actually get any bids on them. What I would like to do is in the fall is to actually just call for an auction on any of those properties that we're not going to use, because at this point we've had them for a long time, and I think it's time for us just to be able to sell them as best as we can at this point. So it's a combination of both, but right now what we've been doing is working with DPW. They've been helping us to kind of manage and try to keep the upkeep of these properties as best as we can. And we've been actually tracking those expenses, right? And so DPW has been logging that number of hours, what we do, if we spend any money on those properties, they've been logging it to turn it into me, and we attach those kind of to the property, because according to the law, we have to make sure that we keep those expenditures, so that we can then, once we then sell it, to make sure that we actually recoup any of the taxpayers' dollars that we spend on these properties.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you. Boxer, you have anything?
Nope, that was it. Thank you.
Also, I understand, we want to say congratulations, because we know you were honored by Mayor Adams of New York City yesterday.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, yes, I was a part of his professional networks. So thank you so very much. You know, I shy away from those things, but thank you for recognizing.
Thank you. And we just want to say thank you here in Mount Vernon as well, because it's refreshing to have a comptroller who's transparent and willing to work along with the council as well as the mayor. This is what a functioning government looks like. Like I said, we're not perfect, but we're productive, and we're doing the very best by our city. So councilpersons, do you have anything further, or do we have a motion to adjourn?
Something,
Okay.
if at the end of the meeting, if we could do a moment of silence. We lost a retired Deputy Chief, James Dumser, on August 3rd. He was one of the most well-respected police officers here in the city of Mount Vernon, rose from being a police officer to a detective, a sergeant, captain, and ultimately retiring as deputy chief. He actually spent 42 years here in the city of Mount Vernon in the police department. And I think it would be really an honor for us to stand and have a moment of silence for him and his family.
Second.
Okay, so as we do that, also, we also lost Miss Crystal Lynn Dorsey Daines, a longtime resident of Mount Vernon. Her services was today. Like I said, you never know what life is going to toss at you. That's why it's imperative that we be kind to one another, uplift one another, and get our community back. So thank you for that. Also, there will be a special meeting because we have to have a second vote on many things. We have a resolution. You need the majority, which is 3 votes out of the 5. But when you have an ordinance needs a supermajority, which would be 4 votes or 4 votes out of the 5 or 2 votes of 3. All right, so that's why we have to have a special meeting to get a second vote on some of these items. So with that being said, roll call on adjournment. Did you make the motion? You made the motion in a second.
She motioned for, it was for the moment of silence.
But
Yes.
you did. And you. Right, go ahead, you can do it, go ahead.
All right, we can stay here all day, that's fine.
Good.
I got my pillow in the front.
Second. Did you second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call on adjournment.
Councilman Boxer,
Aye.
thank you. Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Acting President Thompson.
Aye, please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. The time is now 8:47 PM. This meeting is adjourned.